Today we're going to explore the beauty of ornamental grasses. Now, grasses may not be the first thing that comes to mind when planting your landscape, but ornamental grasses can add a touch of elegance and sophistication to any outdoor space. The different grasses we'll look at today come in a variety of colors, sizes, and textures, making them ideal for creating visual interest and providing structure to your garden. And in certain situations, I think there's something, well, mystical involved. I came across these grasses in an arboretum, and man, I could have stayed there for hours. Just look at how they're flowing in the wind. Those grass leaves moving back and forth reminded me of the ocean with bursts of sound, separated by that quiet silence. Yeah, I wish I was there too. Don't you just love the ocean? But we're here to look at ornamental grasses today. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first one up is prairie dropseed. Prairie dropseed is native to North America and thrives in prairies, meadows, open grasslands. This is the most compact grass we'll talk about today, growing to about 2 to 3 feet each season. Look at that nice arching fountain-like mound of foliage. It has a very narrow leaf, giving it that fine textured appearance. As we move through the season, small pink and brown tinted flowers are produced on these airy, long flower heads. These panicle-type flower heads are held above the foliage, providing that movement in the garden that we're after. It also works very well in areas where mass plantings are desired. Here's an example using compact grass as a nice border. This happens to be ruby grass, but you could do the same thing and duplicate that effect with the prairie dropseed. On all the grasses we're going to talk about today, I suggest leaving all the foliage and seed heads on through the winter season. Not only is that going to help you possibly from a hardiness standpoint for the overwintering, but you're going to be able to draw in the birds and provide habitat for the wildlife. They're also going to offer some winter interest, and that's something we're always looking for when you live in a cold winter climate. And here we're looking at silver feather miscanthus grass. This ornamental grass will surely capture your attention with its graceful appearance and feathery white plumes. As with all the grasses we'll be talking about today, late summer and early fall is when we start to see those plumes that sway gently in the breeze, adding that movement and interest to our gardens. This is a tough grass, and it'll take some of the driest conditions you can throw at it. It loves sun, but it also will tolerate some shade. And look at this variety of miscanthus grass with that coppery red plume. This is Ferner Austin, a Japanese silver grass. Look at that. Isn't that just awesome? Doesn't take much wind to move this from a distance. It's just something that draws your eye almost immediately. It also goes into a pretty nice fall color. Gets into these golden yellow. I would say the biggest drawback to the miscanthus grasses is it does spread with the rhizome. You've really got to give it space. You can see here it's coming up in this Prince of Wales juniper, and I've got to constantly be picking it back from that. So be careful with this grass as it can spread out and take over areas quickly. Karl Forester feather reed grass. I think every landscaper in our area knows what this is. It's just really heavily used, and for good reason. Look at that, just a really, really nice, perfect form grass. Karl Forester grass, yeah, one of the most solid performers out there. When I used to work at garden centers, people would usually ask for this by, hey, do you got that grass? It's got that nice wheat head look, and it does. Here's some photos of our Karl Forester as they're emerging, and as they progress through the season, we got to look here at the seed head. And of course, now we're into that fall seed head, which is pretty much what it's sold for, is that look right there. It's one of the best grasses used because it's extremely hardy, hardly ever dies out in our cold climate. It doesn't spread. It doesn't have the rhizome that overtakes areas. The seed heads, I don't think I've ever seen it where it's self-seeded, so it doesn't become a problem in that regard. So it just fits the bill of what everyone is looking for in an ornamental grass. And if you're looking for a little variation, Overdam is another feather reed grass that has a variegated leaf. Little blue stem is one of the native grasses in our areas. I think this is the blues. Look at this beautiful berm created here, and look at all these little blue stems mixed in there. Isn't this something? Just a very, very nice area, and how you can use grasses very effectively in the landscape. Look at the nice fall color on this. Just those deep tones of purplish and the red, a nice little frothy seed head coming on. And that's one of the things about little blue stem you should be aware of. It can self-seed a little bit more than other grasses, could come up in the lawn, in the flower beds, but little blue stem gets about in that 2 to 3 foot range. Maybe some of the varieties just a little bit bigger. I would consider this a warm season grass that'll grow in cold climates. It takes a while for it to emerge in the spring. There's been years where I thought for sure it was dead, and then we get into the month of June where it's pretty warm, and lo and behold, there comes that little blue stem grass. And here we've got big blue stem, much taller and has a more loose feel with prominent seed heads and some nice golden fall colors. If you like that deep burgundy color, Indian Warrior big blue stem is a great hardy variety that you should try. Here we're looking at switchgrass. There's a lot of different varieties that you can grow, but in my opinion, they all get pretty wide and have what I consider to be a very loose, open habit. Even though it can get quite wide, it does not have that invasive habit that we saw with the miscanthus grass. It usually levels out in that 4 to 5 foot range, but I've seen it get as high as 6 feet tall. We'll quick mention a couple non-hardy grasses for our area. That's lemongrass. It's supposed to be a natural mosquito repeller, so we put it between our lawn chairs there. That'll die out this winter for sure though, but a different kind of look. And check out this pennisetum grass. It kind of choked out everything there. So I've been informed by somebody higher up than me that we're not going to be using those next year. Just not enough color was able to survive below. Here's another one back here in the distance. I kind of like the look, but I think if I did it again, I would just let them be solo in that container. But that's not hardy for us. Kind of like this purple fountain grass, which is also used extensively in our area. Sold as an annual, but works beautifully in pots as a contrast to these different annuals. And if you want to talk about making a statement with an ornamental grass, would you look at this? Man, unfortunately, I don't know the name of this variety, but what a showstopper. I just love how they're using this effect in this area. So whether you're looking to add height and drama, create a soft flowing effect, create a border, or need that focal point, ornamental grasses can be the perfect solution. Beauty, elegance, sophistication, and that mystical effect. As always, thanks for watching Garden Hike. I appreciate it. We'll see you again next video.